Imagine living in the richest country in the world, but not being able to buy a loaf of bread. This isn't the result of a war or a natural disaster. It's the daily reality for millions of Americans in 2025. Across the country, supermarket shelves are emptying, not because of supply issues, but because entire communities can no longer afford or access food. From bustling cities to quiet rural towns, hunger is spreading silently. How did it come to this? And why are supermarkets disappearing from our neighborhoods? Today, we reveal 10 U.S. states that are facing an incredible food crisis. Number 1. Arizona. In southern Arizona, there are communities where buying a simple loaf of bread means traveling more than 20 miles just to find a store. This isn't a scene from some remote place in the desert. We're in the United States in 2025. Supermarkets didn't disappear because of a natural disaster. They disappeared because no one can afford to shop there anymore. In some areas, especially near the border, older residents without a car find themselves stranded. Their only hope is a public bus that only comes a few times a week. For many, missing that bus means missing dinner. In Phoenix, the state capital, food price inflation has reached a staggering 38% in just 18 months, making it the highest in the country. As prices rise, more stores close, creating food deserts where food becomes a luxury. The small markets that once supported local families are now closed, not because the shelves were empty, but because the wallets were. In Tucson, 1 in 3 children now lives in households that rely on food banks to survive. Every morning, hundreds of families line up in front of churches just to receive rice, noodles, and milk. Some of those waiting in line once had full-time jobs, health insurance, and even retirement plans. A retired Walmart truck driver who used to deliver food to the region now waits in the same line for a single box of supplies. Arizona was once a winter paradise. Today, it's a place where hunger doesn't come from drought, but from a broken system. Number 2. Mississippi. Mississippi was once considered the agricultural heart of the United States. Today, it holds a much darker title, the state with the highest child poverty rate in the country. The fields still bloom, the crops still ripen, and food is still grown in abundance. But here's the harsh irony: the very people who help feed the country struggle to feed themselves. In Jackson and other cities, hundreds of families, many of them with full-time jobs, line up at local churches to receive boxes of canned food, rice, and eggs. These are not isolated stories. According to Feeding America, more than 60% of food bank users in Mississippi are employed. In other words, having a steady job no longer guarantees food on the table. Many families lost access to SNAP benefits after eligibility requirements were tightened. At the same time, local farmers are being pushed out of the market by the high prices set by large-scale distributors. So, even though they keep growing food, much of it never makes it to local households. The result is a brutal paradox. There is food in the ground, but not on the plate. A mother of 2, juggling 2 jobs, put it simply: I work from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, and still there are weeks when I can't even afford a carton of eggs. This isn't a failure of effort, but a failure of the system. What's missing isn't just nutrition, it's dignity. And worst of all, it's becoming the new normal. Number 3. California. California is the richest agricultural state in the United States. Its markets overflow with fresh produce, organic goods, and gourmet foods. But beneath that shiny surface lies a devastating truth. Millions of Californians go hungry. In Los Angeles alone, more than 1.2 million tons of edible food are thrown away each year, enough to feed over 3 million people every day. However, 1 out of every 4 residents in Los Angeles County does not have enough to eat. This isn't because there isn't enough food, but because the system is broken. Unlike countries like France or Italy, the United States does not have laws requiring supermarkets to donate surplus food. In California, food donation is encouraged, but rarely required, so most leftover food ends up in dumpsters instead of reaching those who need it most. A 74-year-old woman, who used to be an accountant in downtown Los Angeles, now waits behind farmers markets, not to shop, but to pick up what the vendors throw away. She says, "I never imagined I'd be rummaging through trash just to eat." California is a state of contrasts. In Beverly Hills, a dinner can cost hundreds of dollars. Just a few miles away, families ration instant noodles for the week. Tech billionaires build smart cities while single mothers line up for food. The land is full. The shelves are stocked. But for many, even a loaf of stale bread has become a luxury. It's not a matter of supply shortage. It's a failure of distribution, compassion, and policy. Number 4, New York. Just 25 minutes from Times Square, in neighborhoods like the Bronx and Harlem. Hundreds of people line up every morning, not for concert tickets or shopping deals, but to buy food. Boxes of eggs, wilted vegetables, and packs of noodles become vital resources in the heart of the world's most iconic city. New York is often seen as a symbol of wealth and opportunity, but behind the neon lights and multimillion-dollar properties, hunger is spreading rapidly. While Manhattan restaurants charge $200 for lunch and luxury food markets expand throughout the city, there are apartments where children survive on instant noodles and parents skip meals to keep the lights on. The contrast is striking. In Midtown, supermarkets boast imported cheeses and organic produce. In some areas of the Bronx, the nearest supermarket is miles away and, when families get there, the prices are inflated and the food is often poor quality. Income inequality in New York isn't measured only in dollars, it's measured in meals. It's in the growing gap between those who eat for pleasure and those who eat to survive. Subsidies haven't kept up with rent, wages, or food prices. In a city with one of the highest costs of living, the working class is being left behind. If this trend continues, New York risks becoming a two-tier city, one that thrives in the spotlight and another that struggles quietly beneath the skyscrapers. Number 5, Oregon. Oregon is often praised as one of the most livable states in the United States. Clean air, green policies, and a strong focus on sustainability. But behind its eco-friendly image, a silent crisis is unfolding. In cities like Portland, Eugene, and Salem, food prices have skyrocketed alongside the boom in organic markets and farm-to-table restaurants. While high-income families enjoy artisanal products and premium cuts of meat, many working-class residents are forced to choose between buying food and paying rent. Despite its progressive reputation, Oregon saw a 63% increase in demand for food banks in 2024, the largest jump in the entire country. And here's the catch: most of the new faces in those lines aren't unemployed, but people with steady jobs. They're teachers, service workers, delivery drivers, the backbone of the local economy. The focus on premium consumption has, unintentionally, created a divide. Supermarkets in wealthier areas are packed with high-priced organic options, while low-income neighborhoods often lack meaningful access to fresh and affordable food. And, unlike in other states, Oregon's food assistance programs haven't adjusted to the cost of living. Many families now live within walking distance of markets where they simply can't afford to shop. Young couples are moving away, retirees are downsizing, and entire communities are being pushed out of their cities by high prices, not just for housing, but for basic necessities as well. Oregon, once considered a model of sustainability, is now a state where even food has become a luxury. Number 6, Texas. Texas is known for doing everything big: big economy, big cities, big opportunities. But beyond Houston's skyline and Dallas's sprawl, more than 5 million Texans are quietly struggling with food insecurity. That means 1 in 6 people in the state goes hungry, in the shadow of prosperity. In border towns like Hidalgo, desperation has reached its limit. Families search through public dumpsters for expired food, leftovers, or anything edible. These aren't isolated incidents, but everyday realities in communities abandoned by both businesses and lawmakers. Traditional supermarkets and big chains are pulling out of low-income neighborhoods, citing high operating costs and declining demand. The result? Supermarket deserts stretching for miles, especially in rural and border areas, where public transportation is scarce and infrastructure is lacking. Texas, the second largest economy in the United States, is also home to some of the deepest inequalities. Wealth flows into tech hubs and oil cities, but access to fresh food is shrinking in impoverished areas. Nearly 40% of people facing food insecurity in Texas are seniors who dedicated their lives to work and now find themselves abandoned by a system that no longer supports them. Without urgent reform, Texas could become a symbol not just of size, but of imbalance. A state overflowing with resources, yet unable to feed its own people. Number 7. Florida. Florida, sunny, picturesque, and known for its palm-lined beaches, has long been a symbol of relaxation and opportunity. But for millions of locals, the only thing they're searching for isn't a vacation, but food. A massive wave of migration in recent years has sent the cost of living soaring. While luxury condos rise and beachfront properties thrive, longtime residents are being forced out of their own communities. In cities like Orlando, Miami, and Jacksonville, demand at food banks has more than doubled. Many of those waiting in line aren't unemployed. They're teachers, bus drivers, cashiers, and retirees. People who work their whole lives and now wake up at 5 a.m. just to get a box of groceries, and sometimes go home empty-handed. Inflation has hit Florida especially hard. The price of eggs, meat, and vegetables has skyrocketed beyond what most working families can afford. At the same time, incomes and retirement wages haven't kept up, leaving entire communities unable to keep pace. Food banks are overwhelmed. Shelves are emptied within hours. Some have even had to turn people away. Florida, which was once a paradise for retirees, now forces seniors to choose between food and medicine, and working families to rely on charity just to feed their children. In a state known for tourism and wealth, the reality for many is hunger and hardship. North or Creole, Illinois. In the heart of the Midwest lies Chicago, a city of towering skyscrapers, vibrant shopping districts, and top-notch restaurants. But beyond its gleaming skyline, a harsh reality is hidden. More than 1 million people in the Chicago area live in food deserts, with little or no access to fresh and affordable food. In the neighborhoods on the south and west sides, supermarkets have disappeared. The big chains have pulled out, citing high crime rates, low profits, and rising operating costs. What's left are corner stores packed with processed snacks and sugary drinks, but no fresh produce, milk, or meat. In Cook County, food bank usage shot up by 45% in 2024, especially among families with children and seniors. In these communities, residents have to travel 10, 15, even 20 miles just to find a supermarket. And with gas prices and a shortage of public transportation, even that trip becomes a hurdle. Meanwhile, in downtown Chicago, organic markets and fine dining restaurants are thriving. The gap between abundance and lack is more pronounced here than almost anywhere else in the country. It's not just about hunger, but also about geography, infrastructure, and neglect. The city that was once seen as a hub of opportunity is becoming a study in contrasts, rooftop gardens for the wealthy and empty cupboards for the working poor. Number 9. Louisiana. Louisiana is known for its rich culture, soulful cuisine, and deep southern charm. But beneath the music of New Orleans and the beauty of the bayous, an invisible crisis is emerging. Hunger is spreading rapidly. In many rural parishes, and especially in New Orleans neighborhoods after Hurricane Katrina, food insecurity has reached alarming levels. Tourism may have returned, but stable access to food has not. In some areas, entire communities are now left without stores, with supermarkets miles away. Farmers' markets have sprung up, but their prices are out of reach for low-income families. Meanwhile, the only nearby options are convenience stores or small shops with exorbitant prices, packed with processed foods, sugary snacks, and little to no fresh fruits or vegetables. It's not just a lack of food, it's a lack of nutritional options, and it's especially affecting children. FEMA aid and emergency programs that once supported struggling communities have slowly disappeared, leaving many families without a safety net. For those still recovering from past disasters, it's like falling into a second trap. This time, there's no support waiting at the bottom. The residents most affected are usually those who can't leave. Elderly people, single-parent families, and low-wage workers are trapped in a system where food is unaffordable, inaccessible, or both. Louisiana's kitchens once symbolized warmth, abundance, and celebration. But now, more and more families depend on food banks to survive, and even these are stretched to their limits. A state famous for feeding others is now struggling to feed itself. Number 10. Michigan. Michigan, once a powerhouse of American industry, is now home to some of the country's most forgotten food deserts. Detroit, the city that once put the world on wheels, now has thousands struggling simply to put food on the table. Detroit's urban center has experienced a dramatic decline in large supermarket chains. While the suburbs still have access to supermarkets, many downtown residents rely on dollar stores, gas stations, or small corner shops to buy their food, places where it's hard to find fresh produce and nutritious meals. But it's not just about location, it's about survival. In the dead of winter, when snow and ice cover the streets, going out to buy food becomes a life-threatening journey. For elderly people or those without a car, walking miles in below freezing temperatures just to find food is a harsh reality. The aging infrastructure only makes things worse. Buses arrive late or not at all. Sidewalks aren't cleared. And when the heating bill takes priority over groceries, many families are forced to choose between staying warm or eating. Wages remain low in many parts of the state, and the cost of living keeps rising. Despite Michigan's industrial legacy, the benefits haven't reached its most vulnerable communities. Shelves are full in some zip codes and shockingly empty in others. And every year, more neighborhoods quietly slip into scarcity, unseen and unheard. Hunger in the United States isn't just a statistic, it's a reality that surrounds us. If you've seen signs of this where you live, leave a comment. Your story could help someone feel less alone. If this video opened your eyes, check out our previous episode to learn even more untold truths. We spend countless hours bringing you these stories, so if you value our work, support us by hitting the subscribe button. It's just one click.